Welcome to the PortlyAI Human Capital Squad Talk podcast, where we engage in conversation about the changing business landscape and how human capital and other C suite leaders are approaching this. I'm Susan Gans, and I'm the leader of the Human Capital Squad here at PortlyAI, as well as business strategist with Gans Strategic Solutions. Today, I'm so delighted to welcome Priya Narula to our show. So, Priya is a strategy and human capital leader who loves turning complex and messy problems into clarity for executives and teams. At Walmart Global Tech, she focused on strategy and change from a big picture planning perspective all the way to teams that operate when she was chief of staff and principal technology operations manager. Today, she partners with PortlyAI's Human Capital Squad to explore how our native AI native platform can help leaders see their workforce through skills, readiness, and growth while giving talent real ownership of their data and careers. In addition, she's currently participating in Berkeley Haas's Chief Strategy Officer program, where she focuses on how strategy, talent, and AI come together to build more resilient, human centered organizations. Welcome to the podcast, Priya.
Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for having me. It's
You're
wonderful.
welcome. So, Priya, given your background and your work, you share with us a little bit more about your background and what's been changing in the industry over the last few years.
Got it. So let me first begin with my background and how it has evolved over years. Though right now I sit at the intersection of strategy and people and execution. This is not how my career began. My career began as an attorney, as a human rights attorney in India. And it was very starkly different from what I do right now. And I had never in my life imagined that I would be living in Silicon Valley or I would be working in tech. It was just like a chance, many years back when I was over here, my daughter was young, and I was not working. I was through that transition phase, and somebody offered me to come work with them. She was a woman entrepreneur, and she said, "Hey, I have this IT talent solution company. Would you like to come work for me?" And I had no idea what that was at all. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I am looking for new kind of work. I did not want to continue my legal career over here in the US. That meant going back to school. So, of course, I deep dived into it and started thriving as a talent solution expert. Who knew? That that my human rights background would also help me in identifying a talent for tech companies over here in Bay Area. It's a lot of learning. And it was not as easy, but yes, I did learn. I did a lot of Google searches. I did. I learned as I went, and then somewhere in between, I realized that, hey, maybe I need to go back to school and deep dive a little bit more into what human resources is. Even though I was on the talent side, but I felt that I needed to sort of push the envelope and actually specialize in that area that I'm working and providing support to people. When you're in talent solution, you're constantly talking to people, you're discussing their career paths, what are they doing, and during pandemic, I went back to school and I did my master's in human resources management, and that opened another set of doors for me. And that's how I got got hired by Walmart to accelerate their hiring at that point of time. and I uh, I was thriving in that role, um, and that is when I chanced upon and met with one of the VP engineerings over there, and he was looking for a chief of staff with some kind of an experience in accelerating hiring. And I guess he saw something in me, which even I did not know that I could step into a role of strategy and operations. And that's how I transitioned from talent solution to to human resources to strategy and operations. And I have seen um, in this transition is that if you meet with the right kind of people who are your sponsors, who and they can push you to the next level of your career.
Absolutely. Those sponsors are key. Those people who can talk about you when you're not in the room, who champion your cause. So,
Absolutely.
congratulations on that journey. And, you're continuing with your work at Berkeley. So,
Yes,
kudos
yes,
to you.
absolutely. Yeah, I know. So last year, so everything is not always rosy. I got laid off from Walmart last year, and that gave me a pause in what I really wanted to do. Um, I'm, I had not never studied strategy or operations. I did not have a background in that. So when you are pushed into a new role, you learn new things while you are working. But then after the layoff, I got an opportunity. That was the time that I had in my hand when I could deep dive more into it, learn more from the experts. And that's how I decided to um, go back once again to school and to study. It's not the easiest thing. I can clearly see the difference in 2020, me being at school, and now in 2026, me being at school are two different eras, and I find it difficult at times to concentrate. I must admit, but yeah, I mean, I am pushing myself to learn and grow in this program. And the best thing is that I'm right away able to apply my learnings with my partnership with Portly AI. That
Fantastic.
is another journey we will discuss as we go along, but it's like so much of emphasis on AI and productivity and how you are bringing in AI to your organization and strategizing about it. And the course is giving us those steps, and I'm able to sort of um, see it in my day-to-day execution of it.
Yeah, so let's deep dive on that point. So, how do you see HR and the workforce evolving in this age of AI?
Great question, Susan. So, in a large organization, HR, my honest experience has been that most of the time employees um, interact with HR at what level? Policy level, process level, compliance level. I never really met with my HR business partner to discuss what my career goals were. I generally met my HR when I was having some kind of a policy issue or I was discussing something else. My deep interaction with the HR went away after my onboarding. And I guess that is what happens with most of the employees. I don't ever remember having a deep conversation with HR about what my true skills are, what my potentials is, how I can stretch, how I can like look for a different role within the organization, how they can be my champions. Okay, HR is in its true sense, a HR person is not being used um, as a workforce strategy person. That link is clearly missing in the um, current landscape of how HR managers function, or what I experienced. And I know a lot of people experience the same thing, that a HR person has to come in and create a workforce strategy. And a lot of HR somewhere get lost and do not create that workforce strategy, and be that workforce strategy partner to people, where you are helping individuals connect their skills to the business. It's left to the managers to do that for you. Now, the manager might be talking to me about 10 other things in their one on one conversation, and what I am truly aspiring to might not come across in my one on ones with my manager.
Yes.
Here is where AI steps in, and it makes that possible because it gives more deeper, richer visibility into my skills, into my readiness, into what I bring to the table. And that is a view that now the HR and my manager and my and other people on my team can see. This visibility is what AI is bringing to the table.
Yes, 100%. That visibility, that transparency, and and once that's surfaced, it's easier to make decisions around how do we promote that person, what are possible career paths and avenues. And we know career pathing, traditional career pathing is changing and morphing. But it's also about surfacing where are there opportunities to reskill and upskill, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel that uh, I feel somewhere the HR role has to evolve in the age of AI, because it has become pretty stagnant, and people are feeling it. The HR business partners, the CHROs, are feeling that stagnation, and how they, even though they have a seat on the table, like seat of the executive table, the board table, but where is their voice? I want their voice to be heard when they are making a workforce strategy decision. I don't want them to just sit at that table. I want them to use AI with better insights about employees and their career pathing. That's a conversation that HR needs to strongly bring to the table. Right now, I feel all the career pathing decisions are very finance driven, very title driven, um, and very org driven. It's not very skill based, career based, career growth based. In some cases, it is, but not in larger workforce based.
Yes, I agree with you. The role needs to shift and the voice needs to be heard, and it's about partnering with with the CEO and with cross-functional colleagues, um it, to bring that to light and to be that driver of what is the workforce going to look like going forward. And we know that there's a lot of anxiety today in the workforce, um, with AI in the picture. And I think that certain roles or tasks will go away, but other roles and opportunities are going to emerge because we need to think through things differently. And so I agree, there's a different mindset that needs to be in place in the HR realm around this.
Yeah, I just want to add one point, Susan, which I have
Yes.
experienced with a lot of HR, is that it's not that they don't want to help or that they don't want to be your workforce strategy partner. It's just that they are so busy. They're doing so much of busy work, right?
Yes.
Like just getting onto a calendar of my HR director or my HR business partner would be weeks out, because they were just busy doing a lot of other busy work. But I feel bringing in AI would also reduce that busyness from their schedule and make them more available to do other conversations, more deeper conversations, giving more better insights to people about their careers, which I think right now is clearly missing from their role.
Yes, yes. Um, agree with you there as well. It's where can you leverage AI for things that are necessary but maybe not be core to the business, that are those repeatable, let's say more compliance processes. And yes, there should be a human overseeing it, but for the bulk of it, that's where AI can come in, so that free up HR to focus more on the impact to the business and working with the workforce, who's the drivers behind the business,
Yeah,
to
true.
move things forward. So, Priya, what are
Yeah.
you doing as a leader professionally and personally to drive and navigate transformation?
Um, I believe right now in the current in past traditionally, what have we done? Uh, where we see right now with the AI coming into the picture, I believe all organizations, big or small, are going through that deep transition, having that conversation amongst themselves. Should we be adapting AI? What should we be adapting AI for? How are we using this innovation to our for for our growth, for our employees, for our business, for the actual ROI, because it's an investment. Okay. Traditionally, how have leaders driven an org? Traditionally, it's been okay. What are my key objectives? How are we achieving those key objectives? How are we tracking them, etc. So, in past, how what have we done? In the transformation, we have made sure that we have a clear idea what the organization's larger picture is, and broken it down, and created some sort of a rhythm so we can track them through OKRs, through planning, through business reviews, through communication. Okay, now with the AI, it that makes our job easier, decisions easier, because these rhythms can be, what can you say, automated. They were automated, but not as automated as you can make them now by using AI. So that frees up the time of the leader to focus in other areas of transformation. You're not busy, you're not spending hours focused on, okay, how are my OKRs doing, etc. That's a report that gets generated, and you can focus on the areas which are red and don't have to worry too much about the greens, because your greens are automatically being taken care of. But then you can clearly focus on the areas of red. Hey, why is this in red or orange, or wherever those rhythms are showing us the results? And AI can is a clear contributor in upping my time, in focusing as to where I need to focus my attention and fixing those. Okay. And for me personally, I feel I have seen organizations and leaders so focused on um, achieving those results, that somewhere the deeper conversations, or the time that actually needs to be spent with the teams, is not being spent. The message, the clarity of communication, the interaction that the team is craving from the leaders, the
Yes,
busyness.
spending.
So what I'm trying to say is that as a transformation leader, the communication of transformation is not clear. Like, what is AI going to come and do to an organization? That clarity has not been spelled out by leaders, and people are feeling it, right? What have they learned from it? If you pick up anybody in tech today and you ask them, what do you think AI is doing apart from productivity? Oh, it's laying off people. Why? Why do people feel like that? It's because the leaders have not communicated that message clearly to their team. I
Yes.
feel simply simple communication is lacking from most of the organization because we are so fixated in data, numbers, uh, producing those beautiful decks, etc., that somewhere we lose touch with the team that's creating that that result for you, and that frustration sort of stays. So we need to change the mindset. Yes, you're bringing in a new technology. The best way to communicate what that technology builds in and how it will change your day to day needs to be translated effectively. That's what a true transformation leader needs to do. And me, in my role as a chief of staff, um, did that by communicating in easier language. It was a messy situation. It's messy when you are bringing in something, you're doing org changes at the drop of the hat, and you're not giving people the time to absorb the change.
Yes.
You can't do reorgs every 3 to 6 months, and that is what most of the organizations do. And without spelling out clarity into the reason in those reorgs.
Yes. Yes. Appreciate that. So can you share with the audience, what are the key lessons you've learned along the way, and what you would share with others going through similar transformations?
Yeah. So some very, very simple things, like I already mentioned, that the transformation does not just live in big announcements and those heavy duty, glossy strategy decks. It lives in at a grassroots level. It lives in actual, simple communicate communication with your team and disciplined communication. This is a communication which which has to happen every week, every month, every quarter. It is something that where you are clearly communicating what your priorities are. Right now, teams are actually siloed. Pillars are pretty siloed. This pillar does not know what the other pillar is doing because somewhere we have forgotten to communicate because we are so focused on productivity outcomes.
Yes.
We need
Yes.
to double down on simplicity, double down on certain rituals, let people breathe. Don't always look for a org transformation by a reorg. Or reorg does not do transformation. And we
Yes.
as strategy leaders need to come in and convey that message to the leaders that people, they it shakes their core up. You know what? The first question as the chief of staff, everybody would ask me was, hey, am I going to lose my job?
Yes.
It
I'm sure.
transformation should create something constructive. It should not bring uncertainty into people's minds and hearts, which then reflects in how they do the work.
Yes, for sure. So, Priya, just
So
switching it up a little bit,
yes, yes.
what is something that we would be surprised to learn about in your background that might have informed your transformation journey?
I think I already shared a little bit about it. Uh, I believe me coming from a legal career, I'm an immigrant. I came to this country while I was thriving in my career in another country, and I had to begin from scratch. Like I did not know anything over here. I have not studied over here. I went to I put myself to school much later in this country. A lot of people come over here as students. They have some base. I did not have that. And understanding the culture, understanding the dynamics, and still being able to use your skills, your communication skills, your deep thinking skills, your skill to empathize and to understand um, people. I believe um, mm, those are some of your primary skills that can take you from one profession to another profession. Those are certain basic skills that you grow up with. And of course, your drive to be successful, your drive to keep working on yourself. I feel the moment you stop learning is when you become stagnant.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. So, in closing out the podcast, what is it that you would like our audience to remember about our conversation today?
I think the most important part is I feel um, be clear, be simple, um, and keep communicating. Don't make simple things complex. Break down your priorities into simple language. Um, and not everybody understands the high level things. They like it to be simplified, clarified, and sometimes communicated repeatedly because you think that you might have communicated by one email, but a lot of people might not have read it. I'm talking about experience from a large enterprise
Yes,
organization. And one thing that I have clearly learned is communicate, 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 and keep communicating the same thing. And you will still find 10 people in the org who would not have read your email. So and be always open to having conversations, be always open to learning, and making those new connections who can teach you. And in human resources is a critical area of our work culture, and it needs to grow out of just compliance and policy and more into a strategy org, which can strategically help people grow in their careers.
understood. Well, I want to thank you for being our guest today and sharing your insights. I certainly heard your um, takeaways around communication and over communicating is key, and putting things into simple and clear language. And I love your points about being a continuous learner, because that is where the magic growth happens. And something that you said earlier in our conversation about, you know, surfacing skill sets and making those visible, and having HR have more rich conversation around people's careers, and being more strategic and shaping the workforces of the future are going to be keys to success going forward. So, really appreciate that. I want to make sure that our audience can find you. So, you can reach out to Priya in a couple of ways. On LinkedIn, she's Priya, Priya hyphen Narula, Narula hyphen COS. You can also reach out to her directly via email at priaan@gmail.com. So
Yes,
I hope I got all that right.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, people can reach out to me over LinkedIn. I always respond to my messages on LinkedIn, and happy to have more conversations.
Perfect. So, to learn more about Portly AI and Squad Talk, please visit portly.ai. And in the squad spirit, keep growing, and evolving and leading the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.